Let's get the next question.
This next one goes back to Tom. What's the toughest part of being an editor?
Sitting on this couch.
I'm sorry.
It's really, it's wet.
We like to wet down the couch.
We hold them down so they're clean.
Like a car.
Makes perfect sense.
The toughest part, and it's tough if you don't have the right mindset. The toughest part of being an editor is understanding that you're not the star, but you're the guy whose ass is on the line if stuff doesn't go well. I have an aphorism that I use and I tell my guys, and we try to live by, which is creators get the credit, editors get the blame. And that's not a complaint, that's just a statement of fact. That's what the job is, and that's why the guy that wanted to be an editor and you know, a month or two later might not feel that way. You're not ever the one who's out there taking the bows, or really supposed to be. If something goes well, if you have a brilliant idea, if I come up with a genius thing, here's how we'll end Secret Invasion, that's not me anymore. That's the guys who do it. But if Secret Invasion sucks, you better believe I'm going to hear about it by watching the stack. So that was wow. That's the toughest trick for people to learn. And then the corollaries to that, which is you're not an editor so that you can write the comics from the back seat and everything that kind of comes with that.
It really makes it feels like it's a really egoless job.
Well, it should be. We certainly all have great egos, and we use them. But in theory, you need to be able to step back and let the guys that are actually doing this, the writers and artists, the creators, be the creators and be the talent. And you know, again, if I come up with some big business that ends up in the book, and everyone goes, Brian, you are so smart, you came up with that, I have to just sit back and go, yep, sure did. But that's fine. That's you know, that's why they pay me the check, and why I get to do this. So.
All right, and that's it for your audience questions. Yeah. Now it is time for our next section, which we like to call the Week in Geek. First thing we are going to talk about on the Week in Geek is Watchmen movie. I don't know if you guys have heard this news, but Fox is claiming that they have the rights to make a Watchmen movie because they bought the rights to the comic and are successfully suing Warner Brothers for the rights, which may put the movie in jeopardy.
I read the documents online. It turns out that they have the rights to make a bad Watchmen.
They also have the rights to Sony Watchmen, the movie.
What do you guys think about this?
Well, as a fan, it's upsetting because you want to see the movie get made. You know, hopefully they can reach some kind of thing where maybe there's a split or some kind of. But don't delay a movie we've been foaming at the mouth for, or at least, you know, some people have been like, you know, I can't do The Watchmen. It's such a great graphic novel. I don't want them to ruin it on the screen, but. Now the book is selling again like it used to when it first came out. It's very exciting. It's got a lot of hype. I want to freaking see the movie.
Yeah. I mean, do you think there's any chance that they can successfully stop this movie?
I don't think that they want to stop it. I mean, this is a business tactic. That's all that this is. Whether they have rights or they don't have rights, and what rights they have, and that's all for a court of law to decide. These things happen in that business all the time, and it's really a question of how much money is going to change hands, and who's going to blink first, and when it's going to happen. The idea that this 3-hour monstrosity that Zach has filmed is going to end up on a shelf somewhere, it's just not going to happen. The question is, how much money is it going to cost somebody, and is it going to be worth to somebody to put it on the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it seems like ultimately it's going to be worth it. Like, it seems as though, and I find it interesting, like, as well as like Batman has been doing in the theater right now, that this lawsuit sort of comes out right now where it's like, oh shit, these movies do still work. Like, hey, what's that thing on that shelf? Watchmen? Oh, fucking sue. Let's fucking That's easier than us actually making a movie.
So true.
Yeah. I mean, it comes at very suspicious timing, obviously, with Warner Brothers. With suddenly they have all this money from Dark Knight. Watchmen is selling better than it has ever. It's been, I think it even went up to #1 on the Amazon list or something like that, which is crazy. So clearly, yes, it is a money grab. So good job, we solved that, you guys. Let's move on to the next topic, which is actually related, which is DC finally had a sit-down with Warner Brothers to discuss the DC movie-making engine and the fact that it is completely stalled except for Batman movies. They decided that instead of having a Justice League movie, they're going to concentrate on smaller characters and then building that up to a Justice League movie. Clearly, this is coming from the Marvel model. What do you guys think about that?
Well, yeah, I definitely think that, I mean, since they're DC's and Warner Brothers, you know, are partners, they didn't have, like, Marvel has its own movie studio that's just kind of raking in from Iron Man and all that kind of stuff and being like,
Literally, they have a rake of money on the floor.
yeah, which is weird because it's like, why would you throw money on the floor? But apparently Marvel
We
is...
throw it in the air and then.
You're so excited. Iron Man movie.
Then the Joker burns it.
But, yeah, I just...
You want the chair come up here?
Don't tempt her.
But I think that, yeah, I mean, if you can make a studio just strictly on making you comic book movies, you should. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean,
I think the reality here is wait 5 more minutes and there'll be another announcement about another new way that they're handling this. You know, it seems like from the DC Warner and they had a whole bunch of years where they were the only game in town and they were the only superhero movies that were being made, but over the last 10 or 15 or 20 years, you can't go but for 6 months without there being some new, this one's on, this one's off, it's going to be Batman versus Superman, no, it's going to be Superman Returns, no, it's going to be Batman Beyond, no, it's going to be Batman Begins, no, it's going to be, and that's just as different people within that Warner structure push and pull back and forth. They made this announcement, they had this meeting, and that's fine, maybe it'll actually happen. And that's all a reaction to the fact that, wow, Iron Man did well, Hulk did well, maybe there's something to doing it this way. They now have a very successful Dark Knight movie, and I could see them now turning around and going, you know what, let's do it that way, because that makes a lot of money. Let's just leave Christopher Nolan alone and put our Justice League film over here, we can get back to that. And, you know, 6 to 9 months from now, if Watchmen comes out, something else comes out, and something bounces a different way, they'll go, oh, let's do it that way. Whether or not that actually affects whether any of these movies get made, and how good or bad they are, I think is a total crapshoot, because the people who made this decision, half of them aren't even going to be there by the time Watchmen opens.
Why are DC and Time Warner messing this up so badly? I mean, it almost seems like Marvel has this clarity of vision right now of this is how we're going to do movies, this is how we're going forward at the end. Is that the difference between them and the DC Time Warner conglomerate?
I don't know, because I don't know enough about how Warner's is structured and how they set these things up. I know for years, and there were years where Marvel didn't really have a lot of success, the theory was that DC had a real problem because they were a one-stop shop. The only place you could make a DC superhero movie or a DC comic movie was at Warner Brothers, or through some affiliate therein, whereas a Marvel property, you could shop to Sony, and you could shop to Fox, and you could shop everywhere. And over the course of the 90s, that didn't necessarily work out so well, but that was the theory. You know, what I can tell you, and I don't work at the Marvel Studios division, I know some of those guys and I interact with them, but I don't know the ins and outs of their business, and I can't really speak to anything in terms of how they plan or how they put this stuff together. But they clearly have a game plan. They clearly understand the source material, and they clearly have good people in place to make that a reality. And that's those films a reality, and that's why you've got an Iron Man movie and a Hulk movie that were good and were well received, and hopefully that trend will continue as they do whatever comes next, Ant-Man, Thor, Cap, or any of these things. And certainly successful movies make people think, wow, we should do that too. We have a bunch of these guys. Why not do an Aquaman movie? Why not do an Atom movie? But I don't know enough about how the Warner deals are set up. I don't know if they've actually opted some of that stuff off to other studios, in which case they get into entanglements like this Watchmen situation with Fox, or whether they're just a bottleneck in-house, it's different people with deals, or different producers, or different VPs vie for the same properties. My Green Arrow movie is better than your Green Arrow movie. I really don't know. You know, hopefully some good films will come out of it eventually. And it's not like they haven't had a decent track record of getting things made. They haven't all been the most wonderful in the world, but there are plenty of crappy Marvel TV movies from years ago too. So.